God, what a kicking nuts. Oh. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Start of a new Premier League season. Here we go. So much excitement going into the season. I have not been this excited in many years. Basically, since the last time Hazard was on the team, or the summer after we won the Champions League with Tuchel. Those were peak excitement years going to a season. And this season, I didn't make any predictions on a video, but I genuinely think this team can win the title. Now, that being said, wow, what a disappointing game. Crystal Palace, I have to give, first of all, big shout outs to Crystal Palace. What an incredibly well managed team. This team knows exactly how to play. They worked their ass off every single minute of the game. They came out storming after that first whistle. Like, they blew us away with their press. We just could not play through that press. And that's something that we're going to have to figure out. Otherwise, it's going to be another really long season. But really, shout out to Crystal Palace. This is a team, no wonder they beat City, FA Cup. No wonder they beat Liverpool, Community Shield. Incredibly well-coached team. Great players. Really strong physical defense. Midfield runs everywhere. Covers their markers, covers space. Yeah, they were only caught out maybe just a few times. And of course, we didn't take advantage. And that's the story of the game. Fine margins. But that's what the Premier League is all about. Fine margins. But yeah, this is a tough first game. Even though we were at home, Crystal Palace, really well organized. And we, unfortunately, just did not compete with them for majority of the game. We were slow. We were tired. We looked tired. Especially players like Enzo. He looked like he was still on vacation. Just poor touches all over the place. Simple passes, misplacing them. Kicking the ball out of bounds for no reason. Yeah, just poor all around. And when Palmer didn't have space to operate, when he was being double marked the entire game, we really needed Enzo to be another outlet in the midfield to take the ball, to help with link up, to progress. And he just was not able to do it. And unfortunately, our starting wing players in Neto and Gittins, neither of them. Neto is, I would say, a little bit better since he's got some Premier League experience, but still, he's not the tallest, so he's not going to be a good outlet in the air for outballs. So that depends on if he can hold up, and he's just never really been the kind of player to run back and hold up and pass the ball along. That's not really his game. And unfortunately, Gittins, you can see he's very young, very talented, but he needs time to get used to the Premier League. He needs time. You can tell some of his touches weren't just there. He didn't really have the confidence to take on players one by one or 1v1. Yeah, I would say he had a very quiet game, along with a lot of our attack. And João Pedro, I feel like this was a manager decision for him to not come back and help out and link up. I didn't really see him run back into space like Jackson would. He just kind of tried to stay up. But not only that, he didn't really try to make runs behind them either. He just didn't really offer all that much today. He wasn't very good in the hold-up against a really physical defense. And things only got better when Delap came on, who is a lot more physical. He actually was able to hold up the ball and then get our midfielders involved, in which case also got our wingers involved. And that's another thing that I want to say up front, is from this game, I think there's a couple things that are very clear. Number one, Josh Antwerp, huge talent, only 18 years old, asked to do a lot being the center of our defense. And while he is very good in defense, you can tell he's still young. We cannot expect him to instantly turn to Colwell with the line-breaking passes. And unfortunately, between him, Chalobah, and Reece James, none of them had the confidence to pull that trigger. And then when they did, it frequently was misplaced. And that's where, the press conference before the game that Enzo Maresca gave made complete sense. He's basically just begging the board to buy another defender that can pass well, because as you can see, if we don't have Colwell, if we don't have Tosin, we just don't have someone to do that really fast line breaking pass down the middle to either the striker or to a midfielder that Colwell used to do time and time again every single game. And that's what helped us get out of high presses. And without that, man, we're going to keep seeing games like this where the defense just keeps passing from side to side, out to the wing, back to defense, no penetration. And that needs to solve really, really quick. As good as Josh Achampong was at actually defending, and you can tell his strength is being able to recognize space and being able to quickly run into it. But even when he ran into space, his next pass was not a good progressive pass. It was either to a midfielder and then it would get recycled back, or he would turn around and give it back to defense. And I'm sorry, that's just things like that are the fine margins that help us win a game versus what we saw today. Another thing, against a team like Crystal Palace, who are strong in the midfield, who are willing to, be really compact, not really come out and give us that space, we need wingers to create something. And so that's where a player like Estevao must be starting. I would say Gittins is too young. He should be coming on games. Like, it should have been Gittins coming on today after Crystal Palace was tired, not Estevao. Estevao needs to be starting, and you can tell the immediate impact he had. It didn't matter if he was being marked 1v1, 2v1. He was always trying to take on his man. And sure, some of the times it didn't come off, but that doesn't stop him. And more often than not, he would beat his man and have a free run into box. And he put in several crazy good crosses that we just could not capitalize on. So yeah, against a team like Crystal Palace, and believe me, there's going to be more Premier League teams that are going to want to sit back and just pack and make things very difficult for us. We have to start Estevao. He is just too talented to try to baby into this league, and that is extremely obvious. Even after just his 30-minute cameo today, he must start. And then when he starts, and when people realize how dangerous he is, that'll open up a lot more space for Palmer, where he can do his best on that right side. Unfortunately, he's just not as effective when he plays on the left side. And with Enzo being completely non-existent today on the right, yeah, things just weren't working. And then, of course, even with all of that, at the end of the game, we had multiple chances to score. Estevao, amazing chance. I think he took a pretty heavy touch with his chest, which really took him into an odd shooting angle. And it was a close miss. It was a very, very close miss. He went with power over precision. And even so, it wasn't that far off. He's 18. I'm not going to blame him too much for it. I actually like that he was in the proper position. He was willing to take that chance. We need players like him to be confident and want to take those shooting chances. But the second miss at the very end of the game, in the 92nd minute, by Andre Santos. Wow. Again, this is another problem with just relying on youth. You can see there's that lack of composure sometimes. He had time to take a touch. He had time to aim. He didn't need to blast it over the bar, but you can tell he just didn't set his feet. He was leaning back the whole time. And of course, the ball just went way above the bar. And you could see Palmer's frustration. He immediately fell over because he knew, number one, Santos knows how to score. He should be shooting better. And two, Palmer was wide open. He had time to make that pass also. So either way, we still created chances at the end of the game. And that's the positive that I want to take from this, is that, yes, we had a tough game. Yes, some of our players did not look like they were up to it. They don't look like they've had a full preseason, which we haven't. But even then, even despite that, our substitutions made us better. Our player options on the bench are so much better than what we have last year. And yeah. And so as long as people wake up, as long as Enzo wakes up and realizes, hey, Premier League has started and we really, really need him to be 100%. Yeah, as long as those things happen, I'm still highly confident that we're going to do well this season. Now I do think there's not too much margin for error with how good City look again. With basically every other top team not dropping points this weekend, except for Newcastle, which is expected given their horrendous summer. We just cannot mess around too much, especially early in the season, especially when we just need to build momentum. We have very winnable games coming up ahead. Brentford, West Ham, Fulham. Yes, they're all London derbies, but we should be winning those games. Full stop. We should be winning those games. And if we want to challenge for the title, we must be winning those games because there's no guarantee we could get points off of City or Liverpool or Arsenal yet. And so we need maximum points from every other team in the league. And then final thing, which is against the physical defense, we need Delap. We need Delap to come on sooner. He offered us the one thing that we didn't have, which was being able to hold up the ball. We were able to hit it in the air. He was able to chest it, bring it down, have a good touch, bring our midfielders into it. Yes, he took a very weak shot when he had his chance, but that's fine. It was still much better than not being able to retain the ball at all and then immediately losing it, like João Pedro was doing. So, yeah, I don't want to be too negative. It's the first game of the season. There's still a lot more to come. So hopefully the next one goes much better. See you guys after the next one. Peace.